Are you into decks that inflict burn damage to your opponent? Whether it be life points in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or damage in Card 5 Vanguard, this Elestral deck has the power to expend your opponent's spirits from their spirit deck. While you're doing your normal, typical Eruption plays, ideally, once your opponent is caught at a low spirit count, that is your opportunity to inflict that burn damage. Let's get right into it. I'll show you the deck list real quickly too, as a snapshot, but I want to highlight some key cards. So we'll start off with Eruption. So Eruption, you can expend 2 fire spirits to force expend your opponent 3 spirits. Do keep in mind that there's no enchanted Elestral with a fire spirit on their side, otherwise they'll only expend 1. So you really don't get much for your buck at that point. And so we're playing 3 copies of this bad boy. This is an Invoke Ruin too, so as soon as you draw into it, and if your opponent's at low spirits, you could just cast it and just outright win. I'll actually show some gameplay that actually shows that. And another card that helps inflict burn damage is Krakatuga. This is an Elestral. It's a water and a fire enchantment cost, but just like Eruption, you expend 2 fire spirits to force your opponent to expend 3 spirits on their end. As a benefit too, if you so happen to cast Eruption, you can target and destroy a card on the field. So you want to make sure you destroy your opponent's cards at that along the process of burning them as well. This is a Fire Nexus type of deck build too, so we're taking advantage of Kinleo to get rid of threats too. And another card that is a 1-spirit Elestral that also helps us force expend spirits for our opponent is Necruff. It's a really good 5 attacker, so you could easily get over a lot of small Elestrals. And when it destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, your opponent has to expend a spirit from their deck. A card I wanted to highlight with this particular build too, you may not have access to all of your expend cards, but you also need some type of spirit recovery as well. There's 2 key cards, Warmite, Champion of Hestia, and Hestia's Hearth. We'll go over Warmite specifically first. So essentially, whenever this is casted with the Fire Spirit, you can target one of your opponent's Elestrals and -3 attack it. You could even actually choose your own Elestrals too if you want to, but most of the time it's your opponent's. So this card helps get over problem cards too, but its second effect really shines for this deck too, is that when you do cast Hestia's Hearth, you're able to recover 2 spirits from your Underworld back to your spirit deck. Specifically the fire spirits, but that is what Eruption uses, that's what Krakatuga uses too. And Hestia's Hearth is a counter ruined. So there's actually some really cool plays. So once it's already been on the field after the turn you set it, you can cast it during your opponent's turn or your following turn. That can open up some plays with Warmite to get over stuff, or even if your opponent actually attacks your Warmite, and with Hestia's Hearth, you can actually enchant a fire spirit from the Underworld onto one of your cards on your field. And if this card so happened to be a Champion of Hestia or Hestia, you may enchant an additional fire spirit to that card. So in the case of Warmite, Champion of Hestia, this effect will trigger twice and then recover 2 spirits as a whole. And so you get the benefit of -3 on Elestral and then -3 again to another Elestral, or you can -6 on one Elestral as well. And again, if your opponent's attacking into you, you can cast a counter ruin on the battle step and all of a sudden their Elestral is weakened. And because you're enchanting more spirits onto your Warmite, Champion Hestia, you'll have more spirits and you can do spirit damage to them as well in the process. So I'm going to show off Necruff in action right now. So we're going to attack into the Eddy, destroy that Elestral in battle. Necruff triggers, and the opponent is forced to expend an extra spirit. And as you can see, since they were low enough, they could only do so many plays. So in this scenario, our opponents are attacking with their Draw King to our Warmite, Champion of Hestia. I cast the counter ruin Hestia's Hearth right now, going to give those spirits to Warmite. As you can see, you got the second spirit, and now Warmite will trigger with all these effects. And of course, you have a chain that is working in that fashion. And so in this case, we're going to weaken Draw King by -6, while also recovering 2 spirits back to our spirit deck. As a result, Draw King's weaker, ends up losing spirits from their spirit deck in the process. In this scenario, I didn't have much going, so I expended to draw, and I so happened to draw into our Eruption. And as you can see with our opponent's spirits, we forced them to expand their last spirits and causes our victory. We have another scenario where maybe your opponent has a tough Elestral to get over, and it's full Tempest in this case, so we're going to use Eruption to actually just win the game still. So even though our field is not that great in terms of attacking and getting through their forces, essentially, we're going to win with this burn damage. So here we're going to cast Krakatuga here, and in this case, we know that their spirits are low. Just for the sake of the example, just put it in defense position, and then use Krakatuga to expend 2 of my spirits to force them expend 3, and we win. pretty straightforward. And that's the Burnt variant or Fire Nexus. It's actually a really fun deck. It's pretty interactive too, especially with the Warmite and Hestia's Hearth interaction, while also having access to Kinleo, Lavalith, and all those amazing fire Elestrals that we can use. Definitely recommend trying a deck for yourself. It takes a couple games to kind of get used to the timings and also when to use Eruption. Sometimes if you use Eruption too soon, then it just fuels for their Ambrosia. So you almost like don't burn anything in that case too. So your goal is to get them low enough spirits where it makes it even harder for them to play their own cards, but also potentially just win. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any suggestions or potentially any other questions that I can help answer. I'd love to have a conversation too. And if you want to see more Elestrals content, feel free to check out these other videos as well. But next time, bye!